So, you're moving to Northern Virginia and deciding whether to rent or buy. Which is the best option? Hey team, I'm Emily Howlett, a local real estate agent here in Virginia and Maryland. If you're moving to Arlington or Alexandria, deciding whether to rent or buy is going to be one of your biggest decisions. Which is better? Let's talk about it. While there are several things that make the ultimate answer, it depends, there are a few things that pretty clearly make it a better decision to buy. While mortgage interest rates are higher than they were over the past few years, as of this video, the national average rate is actually a lot lower than what it historically has been. What does that even mean? In short, it means that overall it costs less to own a home. On this calculator from NerdWallet, you can see that everything is the same between these two loans except for the interest rate. A single point can't make that much of a difference, can it? Actually, it can. Looking at the monthly price, it jumps by over $300, and the long-term cost, if you own the home for the full 30 years, jumps by nearly $120,000. Yikes. All of this is to say that calculating in the interest rate can be a big deciding factor for whether you should rent or buy. Buying is very expensive in the short term, especially when you're buying a higher priced house, which is pretty likely in Arlington and Alexandria. What this means is that if you're planning to be in the area for a good while, buying will probably be the better option. How long does it really take to start making it worth your while? Well, as usual, it depends. The factors that come into play are many. A few examples include how expensive the house is, what you would be spending on a place to rent if you didn't buy, and costs like insurance and yearly maintenance. The common guideline is that if you're planning to be here for 5 or more years, you would be better off buying. But that's not always the right answer. Thankfully, there are a lot of great calculators online that can help you calculate a more precise answer. Check out the description for some of the ones that I found. These calculators do the math for you on a lot of the factors that I just talked about, and give you a chart like these ones that show you the timeline and the overall cost of each option. And sometimes, as you can see with this chart, it may turn out that buying isn't the best option just yet. If you love to make your place into your own, especially with new paint and wall hangings and other things that landlords don't usually love, then buying might be the best option. Owning your own home means tons of flexibility for customization, whether it's something simple like painting a wall, or something more extreme like taking out or adding in walls, fixtures, and so on. Do that in a rental, especially if you don't have the okay beforehand, and you're very likely to have a very unhappy landlord. While you can do all the customization in your own home, don't forget that those changes, especially major ones, will also come with their own costs in money and time. If you're looking at housing as not only a place to live, but also as a long-term investment, buying is probably the right option, especially in this area. According to bestplaces.net, home appreciation in Arlington over the past 10 years has been about 40%, while the appreciation in Alexandria has been nearly 45%. And if you're willing to buy something that's a fixer-upper and get it to a more marketable condition, you'll likely be able to get even more appreciation in the short and long term. On top of all that, your mortgage payment goes toward building equity, which is money you'll have access to when you sell or if you take out a home equity loan. Compare that to paying rent, which is money that you'll never get back. The last thing I'll talk about here is the option to rent out your home if you ever move. Both Arlington and Alexandria have pretty strong rental markets to take advantage of by listing your home for rent, meaning that if you're open to the idea, you can continue to build equity and potentially have extra income. When you buy a home, you get access to a lot of tax advantages that you don't get as a renter. The first big tax benefit is that you get to deduct mortgage interest. Depending on the interest rates you lock into, the interest you pay can be pretty substantial, meaning that the deduction can also be pretty substantial. Another big tax benefit is being able to deduct property taxes. While it can vary depending on your filing status, there's the chance that you could deduct up to $5,000 in property taxes. Especially here in Arlington and Alexandria, That can be a huge help. With all of that in mind, be sure to talk to a tax professional to see what deductions apply and what the numbers look like for your situation. So, you've heard all about what's great about buying a house. What about the benefits of renting? If you're brand new to Arlington and Alexandria and don't yet know the neighborhood you want to live in or aren't familiar with the hustle and bustle of city life, renting is likely going to be the best option. While you could buy a home sight unseen, it may be more hassle to buy, then sell, then move again if you realize that the spot you moved to isn't the right fit. Instead, it makes more sense to rent something for a shorter term and use the time to explore and find a spot that's a better fit. Additionally, if you're moving here and have a definite timeline for when you're leaving, for example, if you're on a year-long assignment or working on a temporary contract, renting is likely the best way to make the most of your time here. Let's be honest, homes take a lot of work. Broken water heaters, clogged pipes, electrical problems, peeling paint. I could continue, but I think you get the point. There are a lot of things that can go wrong with a house. Not only are they a headache, they can also cost a lot of money and can take a lot of time to resolve. So as much as some people might say that owning your own home is really just the best thing in the world, it does take a lot of work to keep it functioning well. To sum things up, if doing all the maintenance for your home isn't your thing, renting likely will be the better option. Like I mentioned with some of the earlier points, buying a home can cost a lot up front, and it can also cost a bit of money to maintain. If you're currently working to improve your financial situation, for example, paying down a lot of debt, improving your credit score, or saving up for a down payment and expenses as a homeowner, it may be a better option to rent while you do that. The maintenance costs are lower, and in general, the utilities for an apartment are going to be a lot lower than the utilities for a whole house. While it might not seem like a factor, inflation actually makes a huge difference in the calculus of whether to rent or buy. If inflation is high, typically interest rates rise in order to combat inflation. As interest rates rise, usually so do the rates for mortgages. And as we talked about for homeownership, even a rise of 1% can add up to thousands of dollars in the short term and hundreds of thousands over many years. So I guess the short version is that when inflation is high, the overall price of homeownership goes up and the overall price of renting becomes a lot more appealing. Renting or buying is a big decision, and it affects many parts of your life. We've gone over several aspects to consider while making the leap either way. While I'd love to hit the easy button and say that one is definitely better than the other, ultimately, it's really going to be a decision you have to make based on what you need and want. Have you decided which is the right choice for you? Have more questions? Let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to have a more personalized conversation about what could be a good fit for you, send me a text or email, or even just give me a call to go over the specifics of your situation. In the meantime, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and want to see more like it.